This is Nova the manokit with Knittin Kitten Fashion. We're so excited to see you on our YouTube channel. Today on our video, we're going to be teaching you how to wash your fursuit head and hand paws. These are very important to keep clean because they can develop mold if you don't wash them or if you don't wash them properly. We want to make sure all the water's out, so we're going to show you how we do it. There are many other ways to wash your fursuit, but this is our preferred method. So the items you're going to need today to be able to wash your fursuit head is obviously your fursuit head, your hand paws, and any other accessories you might have for your fursuit. We use a Bissell green machine, so you will need one of those. We are not sponsored by Bissell. Wool light for delicate, and a wire brush for a pet. So to start, you're going to pull this off. This is the canister where the water is going to go. You're going to pull off this black tip, and then we are going to get our woolite out. I fill up the very bottom part of the woolite cap. I don't use a lot because if you use too much, that can make your fursuit feel a little sticky. And we definitely don't want that. And then we're going to pour it into our canister. Now that we've added all our woolite, now it's time to add the water. So we're going to add the water up to the line that it shows on the canister. And if you believe you've added a little bit too much woolite to your solution, it's easy to fix. You let the water run out just a little bit out of the top of your canister. And then you will pour out the rest until you get to the film. It's perfectly okay to see bubbles. It happens, especially when using the tourniquet. So we're going to put our cap back on, and then we want to make sure we screw this on tightly. We don't want any leaks coming out because it could leak onto the carpet. Now we're going to wipe off any extra water that could have gotten on the outside of the canister. And after we're done doing that, we'll be ready to go. Now that we have it attached to our little green machine, we want to make sure the fill line is at the point that it shows, so we are good on this side. And once you start using it, the dirty water will show up on this side. You don't want it to get above the full line, so you should always watch that. So now we're going to turn on our Bissell and we're going to start. So the first part we're going to wash is the snoot to your fursuit. A lot of people like to boop this area. So we want to make sure we get it nice and clean. So you're going to press the button to spray out as much water as you can, but not too much. And then we're going to make sure we get all the water sucked up out of that nose. That's going to get all the dirt out of our fursuit. So make sure you take the time and effort to really wash this area. And this goes for any other high impact areas. We want to make sure that in any part of our fursuit gets nice and clean. So now we're going to get the back of the head. So we're going to do the same thing that we've done throughout the nose and the top of the head. We're going to spray, and then we're going to try to suck up as much of that water as we can to make sure it's nice and dry. Same for the ears. We want to make sure those are nice and clean, so we spritz them, and then we slowly go over the ears with our green machine. And as you can see, it's really getting that water out of there. Now it's time to wash our fursuit paws. So let's get a paw. You're going to lay it nice and flat. You're going to turn on your machine and you're going to spray it. This part I like to saturate just a little bit more than I do the head because a lot of people are touching your hand paws and you're touching handrails, buttons, doors, etc. So we want to make sure they're nice and clean. See all that water coming out of there? That's exactly what we need to see when we're washing our hand paws. I always make sure I get my paw pads nice and wet and go over those a couple times just to make sure get all the dirt and ick off of them. Now we're going to flip them over, and we're going to do the same thing that we did on the bottom to the top. We're going to spray it, and then we're going to get all that water that we just sprayed out of the fur. And this will leave your hand paws smelling so nice and fresh. Alright, this next step is very important. We want to make sure we brush out our fursuit head that we just washed. If you don't brush the faux fur, it could leave it looking a little wrinkly here and there, and it could look messy. So to make it look nice and pristine like it was before, we want to brush out all the spots that we got wet. So I always make sure to go over the head nice and thoroughly. That way I don't miss out on any spots, because we want to make sure, since this is the focal point of our fursuit, that it looks pristine. I do prefer using a wire brush over a soft brush here because it is wet fur. If the fur wasn't wet, then I would use a soft brush on certain parts of the face, just to keep the fur in good condition. Alright, now that we have our fursuit all nice and washed, now we're going to put it in front of a fan. Make sure you check that there's air coming out of the eye holes and the mouth hole for good ventilation. Thank you so much for staying and watching our video today. And if you like our content, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope you all the best. When you are washing your fursuit, let me know how it goes. And I hope your suits smell nice and fresh at the end of it.